A barometer is something that measures changes in atmospheric pressure. I very much feel like mountain guides are barometers of change in the high mountains. My name is Angela Hawse. I'm a longtime professional mountain guide. I'm a past president of the American Mountain Guides Association, and for the last 20 years I've been a trainer and examiner of up-and-coming mountain guides.
I've guided for 35 years, all over the world, 22 different countries, from the Antarctic to the Arctic, and I've seen a lot of change. What can we do by inspiring the outdoor community to turn our passion into action?
One of my passions is sharing the places that I love with curious and adventurous clients. I've brought a group of 4 guests to one of the most remarkable Arctic wilderness places on the planet. The feeling that I get going to shore on Svalbard, stepping off a sailboat onto sea ice, seeing polar bear tracks, it transports us back to feeling like a kid again, and that sense of wonder that nothing else than the natural world can deliver.
And lo and behold, there's a polar bear. On our very first day, we're getting off for our very first skin.
Day 1, we just barely put our skins on, and here we look up and there's a polar bear that is maybe like 500 yards away from us right now, and she is a beauty. How spectacular. What a gift. The changes that I've experienced in the few short trips that I've been here are a dramatic variation in sea ice coverage.
The largest conservation threat to polar bears is the loss of their Arctic sea ice home. And so a big part of conserving polar bears is actually educating people about the Arctic sea ice and the changes that we're seeing. So when we have open water, we have more of Earth's energy being absorbed into this big body of water rather than reflecting that energy back into the atmosphere.
Y'all ready?
There are a lot of parallels between what guides are seeing
They've lost so much mass.
and what scientists are seeing.
A lot of times we land on the sea ice and we put our skis on and we ski across the sea ice to get to shore to ski and climb an objective.
Come on over.
But a lot of times that's becoming much more tenuous and dangerous with the warming temperatures.
You can get us a little closer.
Polar bears are not the only ones connected to the sea ice. We all are connected to the sea ice, and it really has impacts way beyond the Arctic.
It's a real contradiction whether to even bring people to these places that are so fragile and are changing so rapidly while wildlife's having to adapt to a warming planet. Taking someone to these places, it can be a catalyst for change and motivation in their lives. That passion inspires action, can really make a difference.
The sea ice and the Arctic is the Earth's refrigerator, and it impacts our global climate system. This is what creates a stable environment wherever we live.
My role as a mountain guide and being an advocate for positive change is imperfect. And I'm a practitioner of imperfect advocacy.
People getting the word of what they can do. What can people do to make a difference? I think financial activism is one of the greatest tools that consumers and tourists have, that we can choose where we bank, we can choose where we invest, we can choose going with sustainable outfitters, but it's just how do we get the word out, who those are, and how we direct those efforts. Thank you.
We're up on the crow's nest on the mast looking out on these beautiful ice floes, just unbelievable. And we saw ski tracks on these broken up ice floes, which was just a real metaphor for we leave very little trace when we're passing through these places. And those might have been our ski tracks that'll just melt and disappear, or they'll be blown over in the wind. And there's very, very little trace of our passage, which is a really special thing about ski mountaineering.
Mountain guides have an important story in climate change. And the risk, I could go on and on about the risks I've experienced with permafrost degradation and glaciers receding. It's extreme. And it's happening faster than we really are prepared to deal with it.